right, James, time to pick a movie. We've got Curse and Curse 2. Okay. The Redeemer, Son of Satan. The Undertaker. No. No. Any of these look good to you? Anything? That one? That's the one. That's the one. Okay, that's the one you want. All right.
With that slip cover.
The Undertaker it is. He picked it. Kind of. As chosen by James, The Undertaker. All right, James picked it after Leslie narrowed it down to 3. We are watching The Undertaker. I don't know anything about this.
I read it.
And
why do you have to show me all this crap? Okay, had I noticed something about that first, it would have not been included. No.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Leslie has a thing against Vinegar Syndrome titles.
Don't hate. Because I have a feeling this is going to be a lot of nudity. You know how I love that.
She figures because Vinegar Syndrome, half of their line is like nudie flicks, that their horror must be nudie flicks as well for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And I read the back, so
she read the back.
It has a cool case, but I think I'm really not going to like this. Really.
Okay, I on the other hand think I'm going to really like it. A, because it has this awesome slipcover, and B, because it's from Joe Spinell. Now, you don't know who that is, but everybody out there, well, some of you out there probably know who that is. And I think this is going to be some kind of exploitation, griminess, goodness. So I'm predicting good things, but we won't know until we watch it. So let's get right on that. And we are back with The Undertaker. Yes. 1988 film with a runtime of about an hour and a half, and yet...
Really? Yeah. I thought it was like over 2 hours.
I know. Now, they did say they added in footage. Nope, still only 88 minutes.
It's not even an hour and a half. Oh, yeah.
It did seem like it was longer. I'm on the same page there. What is the film about? Well, I didn't realize it was a film about necrophilia, apparently.
See, I read the back.
You read the back. But yes, it is about an Undertaker who's into necrophilia, and who goes around killing people, and mainly young girls, and it's to get his rocks off, essentially. Though he does kill other people. And yeah, that's essentially the movie, isn't it? Really? There isn't much more you can say without it literally telling you what happens in the film, and that's pointless. I hate when people do that, like tell you step by step, scene by scene. What's the point? Like, but anyways, yeah, the film is a weird one. It's directed by, apparently according to IMDb, 4 different people, but with only 1 directing credit.
Because the other people didn't want their name on it?
Apparently none of them wanted their name on it. Directed by Franco de Stefanino, who apparently doesn't exist.
So they put a fake name?
Franco de Stefanino is apparently Frank Avianca, Steve Bono, Richard E. Brooks, and William James Kennedy, respectively. All 4 of them apparently had their hands in directing this film. And I believe also William James Kennedy was also the writer on the film. Essentially, these people they've never done anything. So, not only do they not have a real credit on this film, they don't really have any credits at all if you think about it. I mean, yes, they have done other things here and there, or in different aspects. They could have been producers and such. But this really is, as far as I can tell, the biggest thing that they would be known for.
Wow.
In terms of cast, there's really, though there are several people in the film, the only one of note is Joe. Joe Spinell is the Undertaker. This is in fact the last movie not the last movie he's ever in, but the last movie where he had he played the main character type thing. If you don't know the name for some reason, don't know the name? No. Then take a look at films like Maniac and Maniac 2. No? Godfather series?
I didn't see the Godfathers.
Rockies?
I didn't watch Rockies.
Yeah.
Wait, he was in those things?
Yes! This dude has been in so much stuff. Exploitation, mainstream films. He's been all over the place. He was in Taxi Driver. Rapid Fire, which was a late 80s film. Married to the Mob.
I did see that.
You did see that? Yeah, he's in that. He plays Leonard Tiptoes. But yeah, things like Night Heat, he was in that. Deadly Illusion. The Pickup Artist. The Messenger.
Well, this is very funny then, because, I mean...
Like,
you know what I said about when he was on there.
What?
That he looked like was he in porn or something?
Oh, yes.
Now
Yes.
I feel bad.
Yes. She went the first thing, because I pointed him out, and she's like, where's he from? Like, porn? Of course, the Vinegar Syndrome, she just immediately assumes he's from their porn catalog.
No, but he also looked sleazy.
But yeah, he does. Well, that's the reason why he's in a lot of these exploitation films, is he does have that, sleaziness to him. And though IMDb doesn't have any porn listings in it, I literally said it's quite possible. A lot of people, directors, writers, producers, actors from that time period did both. Because hey, it paid the bills, man. Like you had to make money somewhere, and obviously low budget exploitation films and action films and stuff like that didn't always, get you a lot of money. And God forbid you had maybe a coke habit or a gambling habit or something like that. Well, your paycheck was gone really quick. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, comment down below. Maybe it's in his Wikipedia. Who the hell knows? But if you're more adept at your knowledge in pornography or something, was Joe did he go that way? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he does kind of have a Ron Jeremy type look to him, right? That sleazy Ron Jeremy thing going. But outside of him, nobody else is of note. The only other main character, I guess, would be the lady character Pam, played by Rebecca Veron, who didn't do anything else.
Really?
Yep. So, there you go. But that being said, thoughts on the film?
Oh, God. Well, I was right that I wouldn't like it.
Oh, they were not happy with that. They were not happy with that.
That's freaky. You gotta stop this.
Stop moving around.
Yeah, and the lots of nudity. I knew that. I wasn't wrong about that. Here's where it's weird, because it's not like I liked it, because I didn't. I found a lot of the acting was pretty stupid and just like went on forever for no reason, and I'm thinking, can you come out of the TV and stab me? Because like I'm kind of done with this, but it's because it's in the 80s, right? So I liked that because I liked that time period, so that was okay. And even though it was annoying, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And I don't think it's like the worst thing that I've seen this 31 days so far. So, it's just it's. I think it's because there's parts in there that made me laugh, like
Well,
you know. So
and it's not intentional laughs,
No.
right? Like,
no,
what was it?
definitely
And-
not. Like there was moments, and I'm looking, and I'm like, wait a minute, did I just see that? Like, because that was not supposed to happen like that.
It's thing like this is low budget type thing. They're shooting on film, so often it's just one take and you're done. There's no can you redo it like this type thing, because that's money, right? But yeah, there's one thing where there's a jogger and he's going through I'll say spoilers here because I'm going to be saying a few scenes, even though whatever. Not really spoilers, but spoiler anyways. Jogger who's going through the park where just previously somebody had been killed, and he slips and falls. He doesn't slip on body parts or something. No, he slips into the thing. So he slipped on essentially nothing and then landed in the blood. And I can't remember what you said. Something about like, wait, did he slip before he got to the blood? And I was like, yeah, he essentially tripped on nothing to land in the blood. And it's things like that where you're just like, what? Or the lady at, I don't even know what the heck she was supposed to be at. I guess she was school administration. Answers a phone call and whatever. I'm not going to tell you who's on the other line or something, but they're asking her for something. She's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll get that right away. And so she's like, looks, and then she puts the phone on her shoulder because she doesn't know what to do with it, clearly. And then she does this with papers on the desk. She's like, I'm looking. And then picks up a Rolodex, which was right in front of her. And then she does this. Oh yeah, I've got it.
And the part where like he's like gonna kill somebody, and his tools that he had, because I don't want to say it, but it's like when he's like stalking people.
Yeah.
And he was there, and he was gonna kill her.
I don't know what you're talking about. You gotta be more descriptive, otherwise it's pointless to them.
Well, it's like he had the needle. Right? It's like, where was this supposed to go?
Yes. So he's essentially, drugging people to knock them out and take them some. So he's got a needle, right? It's got some red liquid or something like that. And the one thing, he's got... This is what I love. At first, I'm thinking, okay, he's got a rag in his hand. Okay, he's going to chloroform him, right? And boom, rag goes over the thing. But no, then a needle comes out of nowhere, and he's going to inject him. So I'm like, okay, so that was just to shut them up. Sure, whatever. Then he sticks the needle in their ear. And then you're like, what? And then the needle's not in their ear. It's against the side of their face. And the liquid is gone. And it's just like... I don't know exactly what he did with that needle. But I don't think it was supposed to happen like that.
No. That was funny.
So it's just little blunders, those little things that, I'm sure as the director and editor is putting this film together goes, oh crap. Oh well, we can't cut it. we can't reshoot it. We're just gonna have to leave it in there, right?
But it's those things that made it bearable.
Well, those things made made it unintentionally humorous. Is essentially the way it is. Yes, but yeah, as a film, it started off okay. I was okay with it. Sound wise, you know, it's low budget. It's got and it's older, so it does have some sound problems, which whatever. It's part of the genre at that time period. It happens in a lot of films, and video wise, this particular thing we're watching apparently clipped in. There was missing footage, so they clipped in VHS footage and stuff like that to fill it because. And at first you're thinking, well, what could it be, right? Like, did you really need to put it in there? And then you watch it and you're like, well, yeah. Otherwise you'd have to cut out entire scenes of the film and probably would have ended up with a runtime of about 60 minutes maybe.
That might have been all right.
Might have been all right. But you probably would have been missing more of the story than yeah, there would have been references to stuff that you never saw. So, yeah, there was all that. But outside of that being the case, there were moments where I don't know what it was because they're shooting the same scene, so I can only assume that they did multiple takes. And some of them looked really, really good. Really, really good. And then other ones looked really, really like super grainy and just muddy. And considering this was all taken from the same negative, I'm just like, wow, okay. You can tell there was more light put in the scenes where, you know, it was really good. And then certain aspects where it was just like, it was washed out. And you're like, what happened there? You know, like, and that wasn't a matter of, you know, Vinegar Syndrome's trying to, you know, remaster or clean it up and stuff like that. This was original. This was from the original print that these problems originated from. And it's, you know what, it comes with the territory. It is part of the problems. It's one of those things where some of these guys, their cinematographers weren't exactly masters of their trades. You could have, I don't even know, the guy may have just been hired and he was like, you get to hold the camera. He may have never shot a camera or shot anything on film in his life. Who the hell knows, right? So that's when you run into those type of problems, and it's almost like as long as you can see it and it's there, they don't really care. So it's not really a work of art in that sense. But where this film really got me, was it's a simple story. And yet I don't know how they managed to make it so complicated. They're like the character, the main girl we referenced earlier. She becomes a target of the Undertaker. Like he specifically says, I'm going to get her. And he tries. And then doesn't try for a good portion of the film. It's like he just like, oh well, I'll get around to it eventually. But he seemed really set on killing her at one point. And it's one of those things, it's almost like, I don't want to give away the story, but if you said, say character Jeff learns about a killer, and he tells his friend Steve, and then Jeff dies. But Jeff was the main character for the first part of the film. But now Steve is the main character. And then Steve tells his friend Chad about this killer. And then Steve just kind of goes off to the side. And they're still there, but they're not really involved in the story anymore. They just show up in a scene here and there to talk to maybe Chad. And then Chad ends up getting killed. And then it comes back to Steve, but they never really get back involved with anything. And it's just like, why are you going around why are you making it so roundabout with all this? It's pointless. It's pointless. Why? Why did you do that?
No, I felt like that was like basically the whole movie just talking about a killer thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
It's like,
Really?
why don't you go over to the police?
Like anytime people are together, oh yeah, oh we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's like that's all you do. Like, jeez.
It's just, yeah, it was kind of stupid. The one thing I loved and I hated at the same time is there's a character who's apparently a security guard. And he somehow managed to figure everything out from a newspaper article. Because the article described that this killer has killed 2 people and one of them left entrails on the ground. So what does he do? He links this killer to the movie that they're playing at the movie theater. He's killing them just the same way that they are in the movie theater. They haven't described, like they have no idea how these people were killed or what was done. They didn't put that in the paper. It wasn't like they followed the ritual that was in the movie. No, all you know is 2 people died. And somehow he clues into the fact that it's the movie. So somebody who's watched this movie and is very well, knows the movie so well that they can copy the murders in the movie is clearly the murderer. How did he come up with this? And yet there's a whole segment of the film revolving around this. I was just like, really? Really? Okay, whatever. You just got to go with it. There is a lot of you just got to go with it in this film.
Well, yeah, even the killer himself, like how he gets around places and stuff, and I'm just like, well, isn't that convenient for you?
Yeah, some of the people he manages to get to kill, I don't know how he did it. Like, you got to be psychic and stuff to be able to manage to pull off some of the stuff he did. But hey, whatever. It's all good. In the end, he kills people. There's blood. There's guts. There's plenty, like you said, plenty of nudity. If you're looking for a lot of naked ladies, there's.
Why is it always the girls?
Well, because that was the time period. Now it's a lot of them. It's all guys. It's kind of turned it around. I've watched enough films where I was like, wow, there's a lot of naked guys in this movie.
You never show me those. Just saying,
I don't know. You never want to watch them, and I don't know until I watch it. It's not like I come back and go, do you really not want to watch this? There's a lot of naked guys in this one. It's like I'm sitting back and going, yeah, it was so good, I want to watch it again. I'm going to entice you with naked guys in the movie. But, yeah. Well, it's mostly on television, actually. You watch some of these shows these days. Nudity, I mean, like, I think was it NYPD Blue or something like that, started off with showing bums and stuff like that.
All these guys,
and then,
that's all I ever
and then next thing you know, it's like nudity was all over television. And then it was like full frontal. Like, I mean, Game of Thrones had full frontal. Now it's like anything goes. Anything goes on TV, man.
Game of Thrones, eh? I don't watch it.
No. But yeah. So if you're looking for some blood and you're looking for some nudity, this film it's exploitation to the T. It's got that in there. You just gotta kind of wade through the rest of it and take your lumps, and maybe you'll come out. I don't know. I did actually get scared. Really?
Yeah, well, dang, it surprised me too.
Holy smokes! I didn't. This is the first time here. I didn't notice her being scared or anything.
Well, no, I was holding the baby, but I was like I didn't jump or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't expect that. So.
When was that?
Near the end.
Near the end. Interesting. All right. So, what would you rate it?
This is so difficult because it's not the most horrible thing ever, but it's not good, and I don't think it's supposed to be good.
I think they were trying to make a good movie. Like, they didn't go out to make a bad movie. They were
No.
trying to make a good movie. They had all intentions to make a good movie. They just didn't have the skills to make a good movie.
Like 1.5 to 2.
1.5 to 2, eh?
Because there was, it amused me at parts. So, if there was nothing going on, you know, then
Well, yeah.
that would have been worse. And that wasn't even on purpose.
No.
So technically they don't deserve that, but
Yeah, I'd say on a technical standpoint, this is a 2 at best. But I'm gonna give it that extra half. I'll say it's a 2.5
good lord.
because I did like the exploitation nature of the film. I did like the feel of it because of the exploitation, and like you said, that there were unintentionally humorous moments, and you know what, that's part of watching these films that I just love it, where you're just like, oh man, you totally did not mean to do that. That's awesome. And there was actually, I'm gonna say, plenty of that in this film because it was abnormally high in that regard. But yeah, would you recommend the film to somebody else?
To like one of my friends or to like people like you?
Well, if somebody's talking about something, are you going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that, the Undertaker movie, that's something you would be into? Or is this something you're just going to like, it's whatever, you'll never think about it again?
Not two people I know,
No.
but just in general, if you like old movies that are not good, then sure. I can say that because that's like you.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, what are you into? Oh, you're into old movies that suck. You should see The Undertaker.
But you are, so
Oh, yeah.
you buy them all. Jeez.
Yeah, this is definitely not for the mainstream audiences. I'll tell you that much. If you are into films like, exploitation films, Last House on the Left, or the Maniac films, or anything of that nature, you will probably, this won't be, up there in the list of films, but it'd be something on your repertoire that you'd want to check out. And especially if you're into like the exploitation VHS type thing, you probably have this on VHS, but if you don't, and you're one of those VHS connoisseurs that you like that grittiness look to a film, you like that, the more obscure, things that didn't really make it to the popular culture, The Undertaker is probably right up your alley. It's just got all of the things, the low budget nature, the griminess, the sound quality, the acting, the weird dialogue. Like, I almost think some of the stuff was like ad-libbed. It just like, seriously, there's one thing where
The guy.
The Undertaker and his nephew,
Yeah.
they're talking, and it's clearly scripted, and somebody seems to have skipped forward in the lines, and so one guy is trying to say the lines, and he's trying to say the lines that are supposed to come after it, so it kind of gets jumbled together, and then finally he goes and delivers the line afterwards, and it progresses, but you can tell that it was like, I'm trying to say my line, but oh wait, you're supposed to talk first, but well, the camera's rolling. La 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 la. So yeah, there were moments like that, and clearly moments where I think it was just made up because I it just didn't come across as. Put it this way: if it came across naturally, I think it was probably ad-libbed. If it came across a little, I don't even know what you'd say, like harsh or almost like you're reading off a page, then I almost think those ones were written down on a page and they're just trying to remember what they were supposed to say. Because yeah, some of these people were not actors. They were clearly not actors. But that's the thing. Some people absolutely love that stuff, and this movie falls right into that category. So for those people, yes, definitely check out The Undertaker. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how good it is in your world. But for most people, no. Horror geeks, horror fans, people who generally like the wide scope of horror and not just certain aspects of it, this will be something that you probably want to definitely check out and do a little bit of study work on it. Like I said, it's Joe Spinell's last film where he was, the main character. So in terms of that history of horror, it is important. And there might be more aspects to this film that I don't know. I mean, there's probably commentaries and all sorts of stuff on here regarding the history of the film and such. So it may have more historical significance than I even know. But it's definitely something that I think fans who are into the history of horror and into especially exploitation horror, definitely something that they'd have to jump on for sure. And track it. I mean, it's available. It's a Vinegar Syndrome release, so you can pick it up. Maybe not with the slipcover or anything, but you should be able to pick it up. And if not, I think Vinegar Syndrome. Do they still have they may still have a streaming service?
It was I don't know. It was advertised at the front of that.
So, I know they did at one point. I think they may have canceled it.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I think they were essentially doing it somewhere else. Was what they were, instead of doing it on their own. I don't know. I remember reading something at some point. But anyways, that's beside the point. I think we've said enough about this film. Probably too much. It's probably been an hour. This video may be longer than this movie. I don't know. But comment down below if you've seen the film and what you thought about it. Keep it spoiler free as much as possible, I guess. I mean, what can you say? Dude kills people. But, comment down below. We love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. More 31 Days of Horror still to come. It's early on. Plenty to watch. Leslie's picked them all so far, so she only has herself to blame.
No, you don't see the options that I get from him, so. It's not like I was going into a store or something. Ooh, I want this one. I was like, no.
Realize this. We could have watched Hannibal Rising. That was one of her choices. She didn't even top 3 that one.
I didn't even pick it up.
No. No. Didn't realize it was a Silence of the Lambs sequel.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Or is it supposed to be a prequel?
Well, I think it's a prequel.
Right, yeah.
I think it's before Hannibal and before Red Dragon and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was in the stack, and she says, "Oh, you gave me crap." That was in the stack. She
I probably wouldn't like that.
maybe, who knows? But it would have been a bigger budget.
I'll say this, okay? There's been a lot of times on Netflix and stuff, movies that I have heard of and maybe like had wanted to see or whatever, and I will put those things on and I won't even like get through like 10 minutes or whatever, and I'm just like, turn it off. I'm not watching this. And I left this one on. So it's not always about budget. There you go.
She was on her phone most of the time.
Half of the time.
Previous to that,
didn't
she
say
was dealing with the baby. Yeah. So when she says she watched it all the way through,
You're also on your phone. There you go.
I was also on my phone. I was getting to the point where I was just like, this is going on way too long. Seriously, when is the guy just gonna kill this girl? Is he gonna kill this? Is the girl gonna come back into the killing portion of this film at all? Anyways, enough of that. Thanks for watching. We can ramble on forever in these videos.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Anyways, till next video, take care. Have a good one. What are you guys going to do next video?
Stay away from me.